My name's Martin Gilday. I'm the Senior Vice President for Global Service for Elekta. Elekta is a medical technology company, and we make systems for providing radiation therapy, and that's for the treatment of cancer and brain disorders. So we have approximately 3,000 systems installed in hospitals and clinics around the world, and most of those systems are maintained by our own field service organization. So we've been working pretty hard over the last few years really to maximize the effectiveness of support, and particularly developing the capability for remote services. We do have a ServiceMax service management application as part of our CRM system, and so we use that for managing all of our field service engineers. So the relationship with R&D is really important because we have a joint now service and R&D team that are identifying data points within the machine that will really help us to understand the condition of the machine and to determine what is likely to be a serious failure. We were fortunate in the early days that R&D built in a number of data points into the systems, and so we developed an application called IntelliMax, which is our own application, and it really samples a lot of that data, identifies a number of key thresholds in the machine, and if a threshold is breached, it perhaps indicates that a problem is beginning to occur in the machine. And so we developed that capability such that when a particular threshold is breached, we can alert a field service engineer to the fact that there's been an issue potentially with this machine. The engineer is then able to connect to that machine and to carry out a wider sort of a health check. The thing that made this much more effective was when we also moved from an engineer-centric support model to a central service support model. So as soon as the customer called the help desk, there was somebody on hand to say, is your machine available for connection? And in more than 25% of the cases, we were able to resolve the problem without sending an engineer on site. We're now at the stage where we have 4 or 5 use cases where we know that if we see this particular set of symptoms, the machine is going to fail within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. And so that enables us to immediately alert the field service engineers to the fact that this is going to happen. And what connected field service will really give us is the ability to automate that workflow. Once we can automate all of this in a standard workflow through connected field service, we're going to be able to monitor all machines across the install base 24 hours a day. In terms of the benefits, the biggest one for the customer was by actively managing this situation and predicting the failure, we can reduce the customer downtime by something like 60% on that particular incident. And for our own benefit, we reduce our spares costs by about 50%, and we reduce our labor time by more than 60%. The importance of service is also really gaining traction, and so the service revenue accounts for a very big percentage of the total revenue for Elekta. It has a much greater profile in the Elekta business right now. In terms of this sort of capability providing a competitive edge, I think it absolutely will, because as the services business develops, it's more about being aligned with the outcome of your customers. And the customers are looking for increased patient throughput in our case and maximum availability from their systems, as well as really focusing attention on improving the level of service for our customers. We're also really trying to streamline our processes and make life easier for all of our support staff, the field service engineers, the help desk technicians. And with regard to the field service engineers, rolling out the mobile field service solution from ServiceMax is a real big step on that journey. ServiceMax are taking a much wider perspective on the whole development and thought leadership of the service industry. From the customer's perspective, this is really all about availability and uptime. That ability to treat the maximum number of patients successfully is really one of their primary key performance indicators. So our ability to help them to do that through connected field service is really an important point and a differentiator for us in the marketplace.